The original, The Devil Wears Prada, ended with a very clear choice. Andy Sachs walked away from power. She chose herself over success. But the sequel quietly suggests something else, that she never escaped it. And that's where the problem starts. अब अगर आपने ओरिजिनल नहीं देखी है तो लेट्स रिकैप. एंडी सैक्स एक फ्रेश आउट ऑफ द कॉलेज जर्नलिस्ट है एंड शी इज लुकिंग फॉर अ जॉब. Somehow she enters the world of high fashion at Runway under Miranda Priestly, a boss who is powerful, cold, and emotionally distant. She struggles at first but learns and quickly becomes efficient, sharp, and eventually earns Miranda's respect. But at what cost? Her relationship falls apart, and more importantly, she starts losing herself. That's why she walks away. Because the film makes one thing very clear. Success means nothing if it costs you who you are. Now coming back to this film, the sequel. Almost 20 साल बीत चुके हैं. Runway is struggling, print media is declining, and the world has changed. Andy is now an established and an award-winning journalist. Let me emphasize on the word award-winning. Miranda is still holding on to power, and though Emily doesn't work at Runway now, she still wants Miranda's job. So on paper, the conflict is quite simple. Old guard versus new generation. अगर आप IMDb के synopsis को देखते हैं, वहाँ भी आपको यही देखने को मिलेगा. But the problem is, the film really doesn't want to tell that story. अब ऐसा भी नहीं है कि ये synopsis completely सही है. To be fair, it's not completely wrong either, because it does happen. Only technically. For most of the runtime, the central tension is almost absent, and we are not watching a story driven by a conflict, but rather we are watching characters exist. And then suddenly, in the third act, the film remembers what it was supposed to be about, and things move forward. But before it could fully develop, it ends. So basically, the main conflict appears too late into the story, and then too, it is resolved within minutes. And that's what makes it so frustrating, because the fix was right there. There's a moment at Irv Ravitz's birthday party that would have transformed the film completely. Spoiler alert, Irv dies at his own birthday party. Now, what if, instead of him dying, he promotes Emily over Miranda for some reason? Let me give you a reason as well. What if Emily, instead of having an affair with some random dude, she honey traps Irv Ravitz's son? And him, being the future, the newer generation, Irv has to do his, or actually Emily's bidding. Now this could have changed the film entirely, because it would have been a full circle moment for Miranda. अब अगर आपको याद नहीं है, Miranda did the exact same thing to Nigel, and actually she has done this many a times. So basically a karma moment for her. Secondly, Emily would have actually something to do now. Thirdly, Andy feeling sympathetic towards Miranda would make sense now. And most importantly, it would create real conflict. But the film avoids that confrontation. It chooses comfort over drama. At its core, the film is asking a genuinely interesting question. Who gets to define success now? Because in the original, success was defined by Miranda. She was the authority. But now, the times have changed. The world has changed. So naturally, the question becomes, does Miranda still define success? Or should somebody else take that role? It's a strong question. But the film never really explores that. Now, Emily is the most frustrating character in the film. Not because she is bad, but because she is wasted. The film positions her as an antagonist, but she never feels like one. Because, firstly, she isn't given anything to do. Secondly, her motivations make much more sense. She was a loyal employee at Runway for years. She worked within the system. She earned her place. If anything, she feels more like a justified protagonist of a much better version of the story. Now that creates a contradiction, because she is supposed to be an antagonist, but she feels more like a justified protagonist and is actually reduced to a nostalgia callback. She doesn't drive the story, she just exists within it. And that's worse because you can see the potential being ignored. Now, coming to Miranda, she herself isn't the issue. In fact, she might be the most consistent character. She is still powerful, still cold, and still sharp. The problem is how the film treats her. It refuses to question her. She undermines people, she demeans Emily. At one point, she reduces Emily to a vendor at best. And the film just accepts it. No pushback, no consequences. In the original, her behavior came at a cost. Her relationship fell apart. She had very little time for her children. But here, it is validated. The film reveres her as if she cannot do anything wrong. And that's where the story breaks. And then there is Andy. Just like the original, she is the protagonist here as well. But she feels more like a supporting character in Miranda's story. Now remember, she's someone who walked away from power on her own terms. She's an award winning journalist as well. So after 20 years, you would expect some growth. And the one thing that you would not expect her to do is to seek validation again. And what is the first thing she does on returning back? She seeks validation. She defends Miranda. She rarely questions her, even when Miranda openly demeans Emily. Andy doesn't push back. In fact, she apologizes. And that's the core issue. Understanding someone is one thing, but blindly supporting them is another. The film blurs the line completely, and in doing so, it makes it feel like the events of the original and the last 20 years didn't really matter. So, the climax or the resolution might be the most important part in the film, as it can either make or break the story. And the climax should also be the result of the efforts made by the characters already established in the story. So, the resolution here should be achieved through the efforts of either Miranda, Andy, or Emily. But what happens here is that a random character played by Lucy Liu comes up, acquires Runway magazine, and asks Miranda to run it for her as she sees fit. There is no confrontation, no emotional payoff. इमेजिन अगर एवेंजर्स एंड गेम के क्लाइमैक्स में अचानक से सुपरमैन आ जाता और वो थैनोस से इन्फिनिटी गॉन्ट्रेट लेके चला जाता, व्हाट वुड हैव बीन द पॉइंट ऑफ एवेंजर्स? सिमिलरली कॉन्फ्लिक्ट को यहाँ भी आउटसोर्स कर दिया गया है. एज अ रिजल्ट इट सीम्स आर्टिफिशियल एंड कन्वीनियंट. And yet, I didn't hate the film. In fact, I kind of liked it. And yes, it has more to do with nostalgia. But still, it's a one time watch. I like this world. I liked revisiting these characters. Nigel is still the best friend one could ask for. And there are many small things and callbacks that you would like print media is failing. Nobody reads newspapers nowadays. Miranda trying to be politically correct. These touches feel real. They show intent. And that's what makes it so frustrating because everything needed for a great film is already here. But the film never fully commits to any of it. And in the end, it settles for something far less than what it could have been.